Part 1. The Power of Naming. Stoic Glow version. Have you ever wondered why some women forget you no matter how kind or loyal you are? Because kindness alone doesn't leave a mark. Marcus Aurelius said, "What we do echoes in eternity." But in love, it's not your actions that echo. It's the feeling you awaken when you speak with presence and strength. Most men use nicknames as decoration, soft, sweet, forgettable. But a name carries power. It tells her who you are and what world she's stepping into. Call her babe or princess, and you become one of many. Call her something born from your core, and she enters your orbit. When a man says, "You're my little savage," and keeps talking, he doesn't justify himself. He just speaks it. She starts wondering why that name. What did he see in me? That curiosity becomes connection. That confusion becomes attraction. Seneca wrote, "He who is brave is free." Freedom and attraction means naming her not from need, but from calm authority. When your words come from your center, they stop sounding like flattery and start feeling like leadership. Most men think desire grows from effort, gifts, compliments, chasing. But women don't crave effort. They crave identity. They remember the man who made them feel something new, not the one who begged for approval. Like a sculptor shaping stone, quiet, focused, firm. Epictetus said, "Control begins with self-mastery." If you can't name her from your truth, you'll sound like everyone else. But when your voice carries calm certainty, she feels it. And she remembers you even in silence. Part 2. The first forbidden nickname. Stoic Glow version. When a woman meets you, she doesn't just listen to your words. She feels your tone, your presence, and the meaning behind what you call her. Most men use names to please. Stoic men use them to lead. If you call her babe or honey, you've already lost her curiosity. Those words belong to every man. But when you say something that comes from strength, from who you are, you create a new world she must adapt to. Imagine this. She's talking about her day, and you pause. Look her in the eye and say, "Little savage." Then you say nothing more. You don't explain. You don't chase. Her mind starts turning. Why that name? What does it mean? What did he see in me? That's how a simple phrase becomes a symbol. It moves her out of her own world and into yours. Marcus Aurelius said, "Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself." That's what this moment is about. Not arrogance, but quiet command. Your nickname isn't meant to flatter. It's meant to define your frame. When you name her from strength, she feels your direction without needing your explanation. Seneca wrote, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." This is that friction, the unspoken power between a man who leads and a woman who feels guided by him. She doesn't want another sweet talker. She wants a man whose words have gravity, whose silence has meaning. Epictetus reminded us, if you wish to be good, first believe that you are bad. In other words, power comes from inner discipline. If your nickname comes from ego, she'll feel it and pull away. But if it comes from calm conviction, it becomes irresistible. To name her is to lead her. And leadership and attraction isn't loud. It's quiet certainty, the energy that tells her, without words, "You're in my world now." Part 3. The second forbidden nickname. Stoic Glow version. There's a kind of power that doesn't need to raise its voice. A man with calm confidence leads without demanding. That's the essence behind the second forbidden nickname, the one that awakens her instinct to surrender, not from fear, but attraction. When you say something like, "My little wolf," or "my storm," you're not being poetic. You're creating tension, a balance between admiration and control. In her mind, those words strike a deep place where desire and surrender blur into one. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." That's true leadership influence that comes from inner mastery. A man who radiates quiet dominance doesn't need to explain his role. His tone, his eyes, his stillness speak louder than any declaration. Seneca wrote, "He who is brave is free." Freedom in a man makes a woman feel safe to be soft. She doesn't want to be ruled. She wants to be led by someone who knows where he's going. When you call her something raw, primal, it reaches her subconscious, not her logic. That's why the right name doesn't flatter her. It grounds her. Epictetus reminded us, no man is free who is not master of himself. If you can't lead your emotions, you can't lead her energy. Your calmness sets the tone. Your direction creates trust. And in that trust, her guard falls. Not because you asked her to, but because she feels she can. That's the secret of the second nickname. It's not about romance. It's about resonance. The words you speak from strength awaken what she hides beneath her armor. And in that moment, she stops resisting and starts following. Part 4. The third forbidden nickname, Stoic Glow version A. Woman's heart doesn't fall for the man who praises her. It falls for the man she can't quite understand. That's the secret behind the third forbidden nickname, the name that keeps her guessing. The one that makes her chase clarity she'll never fully get. When you call her my little storm and then stay silent, she starts unraveling. She wants to know, is that name special or random? Does it mean something only to her? And because you don't explain, her mind starts to fill in the blanks. Uncertainty becomes attraction. Curiosity becomes emotional hunger. Marcus Aurelius said, if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. The Stoic man doesn't use words carelessly. He uses them with precision. Every silence he keeps, every look he gives, has purpose. That's what separates him from the men who over-explain and lose their mystery. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." In her imagination, she begins to build stories about you. She feels tension, wonder, even jealousy, all created by your calm restraint. That's how the mind of attraction works. She obsesses not over what's given, but over what's withheld. Epictetus taught, make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens. You don't need to manipulate her. You only need to hold your frame. When you don't rush to define yourself, she feels your strength. She realizes you could say that name to anyone, but when you say it to her, it feels different. This is the art of ambiguity, the balance between closeness and distance. Too much warmth, and she feels safe but bored. Too much distance, and she detaches. But the man who masters silence, who knows when to leave meaning open, becomes unforgettable. Because mystery, not words, is what truly makes her obsessed. Part 5, the fourth forbidden nickname, Stoic Glow version. Most men speak to a woman's surface, her charm, her looks, her attitude. But the rare man speaks to her wound, the part she hides from the world. That's what makes the fourth forbidden nickname so powerful. It doesn't touch her ego. It touches her truth. When you call her my fearful girl, my little chaotic one, or my hidden one, you're not mocking her. You're revealing that you see beyond her armor. In that moment, she feels both exposed and safe, seen yet unjudged. No compliment can reach as deep as being understood. Marcus Aurelius said, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. When you speak from calm strength, she feels it. This isn't about manipulation or pity. It's about leadership through empathy. You're not naming her weakness. You're naming her humanity. Seneca wrote, difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. Her strength was born from pain. When you see that pain with compassion, you remind her she doesn't have to fight you. That recognition becomes connection, a bond deeper than desire. Epictetus taught, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. This type of naming comes from listening, from noticing what others miss. It's not loud, but it's unforgettable. Because the woman who feels seen stops performing. She starts trusting. But this power demands maturity. If you touch her wound and walk away, you don't just hurt her, you wound yourself. A stoic man doesn't awaken emotion he can't hold. He leads not by force, but by presence. And that's what makes him impossible to forget. Part 6. The fifth forbidden nickname, Stoic Glow version. The final forbidden nickname isn't about dominance or control. It's about vision. Naming her not for who she pretends to be, but for who she becomes in your presence. When you call her my goddess or my queen, you hand over power. You place her above you. But when you say my wild side or my untamed one, you're not flattering, you're defining connection from strength. You're saying, I see through the image you show the world. I see the woman beneath. That's the difference between a man who seeks approval and a man who leads with clarity. Marcus Aurelius said, "A man's worth is no greater than his ambitions." When your words come from truth, not fear, you stop chasing validation. You stop treating her like a fantasy and start seeing her as a mirror of your own grounded energy. Seneca wrote, "To be loved, love. Real love doesn't worship. It recognizes." When you name her from presence, you remind her she doesn't have to perform to be desired. That's how power and tenderness coexist. Calm, equal, real. Epictetus taught, "No great thing is created suddenly. This kind of connection takes time and steadiness. It's built by the man who leads himself before leading her." The world tells men to please women. Stoicism teaches men to reveal truth through discipline, not desire. The fifth nickname is not a trick. It's a declaration that you're no longer adapting to her image, but awakening the part of her that only exists in your presence. And when you do that, she can't control it or forget it. Because she's not chasing you, she's chasing who she becomes around you. Part 7, the conclusion. Becoming unforgettable Stoic Glow version. The lesson is simple. A woman doesn't remember the man who gives her everything. She remembers the man who names her from truth, who leads her without noise, without weakness, without fear. That's what makes him unforgettable. Marcus Aurelius said the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Our words shape your presence. If your mind is scattered, your voice will sound uncertain. But when your mind is centered, every word carries weight. To name her is to mark her, not through control, but through clarity. Stoicism teaches that true power lies in restraint. You don't need to shout to lead. You don't need to manipulate to inspire. Your calm confidence does the talking. Seneca wrote, "A great mind becomes a great fortune, and the richest man is the one who no longer begs for validation." The world is full of men who try to please. Few dare to provoke growth, to challenge emotion, to lead with peace instead of pressure. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." That's how transformation begins, inside, not through her response. If you've come this far, you're not like the rest. You've stopped chasing approval and started mastering presence. You now understand what most never will, that a woman doesn't crave comfort, she craves depth. She remembers the man who didn't just speak to her, but named her. So lead quietly. Speak clearly. And remember, to name is not to control. It is to awaken. Because what's named with strength endures in memory.